What are you? Are you an amalgamation of your beliefs? Are you a list of your achievements? What is it that gives you this identity? Is it those who you listen to or those who you aspire to be? Is it what you think of yourself or is it what others think of you? That's what I want to get in today's video. What is it that defines us? What is it that makes us chase all this exterior motives, this consumerism? What is it? Are we what we listen to? Are we what we believe? Or are we what we've achieved? Well, that's the real question. What makes up you? What gives you this identity? What makes you get out of bed in the morning? What makes you chase these things? Is it actually what you want? Or is it what you want to want? And that's what we'll get more into today's video. You know, the idea of what we want to want. So what we want is very primal, it's very instinctive. It's what gives us status. It's what, as humans, we kind of strive for. But then what is it that we actually want to have? And so that's what I want to do to get in today's video. I want to talk about some of the traps with self-worth, some of the traps with identity, belief systems. I want to talk about identity and how it can destroy you, how it can put you in a super uncomfortable zone, how it's really quite tough to break out of, how you can be more fulfilled. What is it that you want to be? What makes you fulfilled? Because everyone else tells you what you want to have. Everyone tells you what dreams you should have. And at the end of the day, you're always chasing this consumerism. You're chasing this materialism. You're chasing what those you aspire to be like have. And ultimately, are those who you aspire to be like what they have? Is that actually what you want? And that's what we'll do in today's video. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Number one, self-worth. And I have here written in my little notebook, exterior chasing. You emulate the dreams of others. It doesn't define you. Is it what you aspire to be? Is that what defines you? Are there certain things you have in your life that give you this identity, that give you this self-worth? Is it that you've gone to a prestigious university? Is it that you've gone into a prestigious school? Is it that you have amazing grades? Is it that you are a sportsman and you're at the highest level, or you're a super high level sportsman? What is it? Is it that you've made potentially some more money than other people? What is it that gives you a self-worth? What is it that makes you feel like you? What is it that you would think that if it was removed from you, if it was stripped from you, it would utterly destroy you? And because you're mentally, your body clings onto that. It clings onto the things that you do in your day-to-day life, the things that give you a sense of achievement, the things that give you an identity, a perceived sense of self-worth. And ultimately, how attached are you to those things? Because that's the biggest one. Attachment will always bring suffering. I'll give you a perfect example. I was quite a high achiever in school, and then what happened is when I messed up in some of my final tests, it completely ripped away who I was. You know, that one kind of bit of identity, that one bit of self-worth that I defined as my grades, that ultimately I perceived as defining me, something exterior defined me as a human. When that's ripped away from you, what is there left? You know, you viewed that thing so dearly, you attached it so much to who you were as a person. I'm someone that gets good grades. I'm someone that goes to a high school, you know, a high school. When I mean like a good high school, or I got into a good university. That's who defines you. But how attached are you to that thing? Because the more attached you are to that thing, the more suffering you'll have because of it. Because you allow all these exterior things to determine your self-worth, there's nothing there. It's hollow. What really should make you up, in my opinion, is the quality of your thoughts, who you believe yourself to be, the work that you do every day continuously, because that's the only thing you can have true influence over, is the work that you do continuously. And it's something that you need to be really careful of, in my opinion, because you can have this self-worth attached, let's say, the fact that you have this really nice car to you, and then you lose, or you have a nice run in business. And then when those things fall, when those things go downhill, and those things aren't what you think, your sense of self-worth is now depleted. Your perception of yourself is now reduced, because now you think that these exterior things define you, when in actuality it should be our interior, and our interior defines our exterior, not our exterior defines our interior. If I was to fully sum up this entire point, it's through that quote right there. Your interior, who you believe yourself to be, the quality of your thoughts, the beliefs you have of yourself, your genuine beliefs, what you think is what should define you, not the exterior things around you, not the amount of money you have, not the house that you live in, not the car, not the goals that you have, not that you think you're better than everyone else. It's about the interior defining the exterior, not the exterior defining the interior. And it can really mess you up because you have this sense of self-worth and it goes downhill because you've messed up in that exterior. The exterior is fleeting, the exterior is volatile, it will go up, it will go down, it will go all around, but what's always going to be there is yourself. And when what's there is yourself, focus on yourself, focus on what's meaningful, focus on what's actually true, what actually depends, something you actually believe in. Because by having this sense of self-worth, we can lead into the point of number 2, and that's an ego death. And an ego death is quite simple. It's a sense of self. Let's say you're made up of 3 things. Let's say 1, you're a super high level athlete. You have good grades at school, and a third is you get paid some money from sponsorships. So you get injured, so you can no longer be a high level athlete. So that sense of identity, who you were, the dream that you were aspiring to become, what you wanted to be because others told you, potentially, I'm not saying it in this case, you have this and that goes. That's a sense of self-worth, that's an ego death. Because you now have to forego something you thought you were good at. You now have lost a sense of identity. Your ego, something that you held dearly to you, has now been stripped, taken away from you. How do you deal with that? And it's terrible, it's scary. But this is also, this doesn't even have to be high achievement, this can be in everyday life. This can be in, I just follow the opinions on other people. Those who I listen to, though they're the dreams I want to emulate. When in actuality, that's not really the case, is it? And the reason why these people do it is because there's an ignorance there. There's a sense of, I don't have to take responsibility for my actions. I don't have to basically go, hey, the onus is on me. It's on me to do what I want to do. It's on me to achieve what I want to achieve. Because following other people is easier. To lack consciousness is much easier than to actually have consciousness. To live in the naivety is much easier, and live in the illusion, the false imagining, the false reality is much easier. And so that's what I want to talk about. It's scarier. There's a loss of identity now. You've lost your identity. You've lost who you're going to be. You've lost exactly what is it you really hold dear to you, and you have to reevaluate yourself. And it's not nice, is it? It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. And that's the point of an ego death. An ego death is to make you reevaluate. It's to put you in the mud. It's to make you get up from that mud and to make you go reassess, what now identity do I want to take upon? I want to take on potentially a more authentic identity where my interior is more secure, where if things go wrong, that doesn't define me as an individual. Who I perceive myself to be, who I actually am to myself, is what defines me. Not being a high level athlete, not emulating the dreams of someone else, not following someone else, not thinking that what they want is what I want. Because then through that, I can reach a point where I realize that it doesn't mean anything. It's just fleeting. There's no point to it. And so that's kind of the main point of this video. It's to say that your self-worth shouldn't be defined by exterior things. It shouldn't be defined by the car you drive. It shouldn't be defined by how nice you look. Obviously, you should take care in how you look, in your hygiene, things like that. I'm not saying that's not the case, but what I am saying is that we can get so obsessed with these exteriors that we leave a hollow interior. And that hollow interior makes us mentally weak. It makes us emotionally weak. It makes us very susceptible to ups and downs. But if we have this solid foundation, if we have this core belief of who we know we are to ourselves, if we have this authenticity, in the long run it will all be okay. And by undergoing an ego death, you've undergone a stripping of an identity. By undergoing that stripping of identity, you've now gone into the realms of, how do we say, it's like picking and choosing in a video game. So to go on to that point, you now get to choose who you are, who you want to be, because you're authentic. You have this genuine, built, sustained kind of level of you. So when I went through my ego death and my bad grades, or my not as good grades as I should have gotten, I then go and reevaluate that, and I go, well, one, I'm going to obviously do my best to ensure that these things never happen again. But why did I allow some papers, some results to define me for the rest of my life? Why did I allow that to have such precedent power? Why did I have such attachment to it? Because by having such attachment to it, I had such a suffering from it, because it meant something. My ego built it up. My ego grandiosed it. It made it look bigger. It elevated it. It made it think that it was bigger than it was. It made me think I was the shit. But then again, that strip, that's gone away, bang, and I fall down, bam, and I have to then reevaluate who I am, why I did this, and I need to learn. So that brings us into number 3, and that's fulfillment. There is no true fulfillment in the exterior. We all had this thing where we've bought something, I'm sure you can relate. You've bought something, you thought it was the sickest thing, 2 weeks later you don't care about it. you've got this, it's amazing, you feel it's really good. A week later, it doesn't mean much. It's nostalgia water. And it's because as human beings, we'll eventually get used to it. What we deem as good, what others deem as amazing, we deem as mid, potentially. We deem them as not as enjoyable. We deem them as trivial, something that is expected to be there. We lose gratefulness. And so through this point, my point is that you'll never be fulfilled by the exterior, truly. None of it means anything. None of this means anything. The only thing that matters is the quality of you as an individual, the quality of your thoughts, the principles that you hold value, dear to you, and what you actually want to achieve. Because we all hear this stuff of, oh, I need to escape the rat race. I need to do this. I need to do that. But is that actually what you want? Is that actually who you are? Or is that because you're now stopped listening to one section of people and you're now listening to another section of people? And of course, I'm not saying listening to either section is bad, but what I'm saying is there's a lack of authenticity. You need to be able to filtrate the information. You need to be able to take bits of the information and go, I like that, I'll take this because I actually want this. And you need to reevaluate, is this what you believe? What is it you want? If you want a family, that's more fulfilling than any car, than any mansion, in my opinion. And that's obviously, this is just my opinion, but the pursuit of your fullest potential is another one. That's the most fulfilling thing. On the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization is the highest. Not status, not what other people think. None of that means anything. Imagine it. You've just been given all this fame, status. It's going to be great for a week or two. But then when you're lonely, then when no one's around you, then when you're in the mansion, you know how lonely. Genuinely think. Stop for a second and think. You're in a mansion. There's 30 rooms. You walk through each room. Each one's very nice. But it's just you. There's no point, man. There's no point to it. There's no point to the exterior. It's all fleeting. You'll die and it doesn't mean anything. How many stocks you have, it doesn't mean anything. How much real estate you have, it doesn't mean anything. Of course, these are investments for the future. You want to pass them down. Of course, there are those variables to it. But those things come from being fulfilled in yourself first. Those things, in my opinion, come from having that authenticity, knowing what you want to achieve, and then using that, what you want to achieve, your passion, your authenticity, what you're naturally good at, as an extension to therefore then make money. To therefore then take that passion, transfer it into something where you genuinely develop a skill set and value, and therefore then provide that. And then obviously you have these other things, but those things ultimately aren't as important as the well-being of yourself, the well-being of your family, actually potentially having a family, what you actually want to achieve. Let's say you want to travel the world. You want to travel the world, but your parents are saying they want you to go to university to get a job. In my opinion, I know it's going to sound bad, but if that's genuinely what you want to do, travel the world, why would you waste time doing this? Genuinely do what you feel is your passion. Do what you want to do what's authentic to you, do what's meaningful to you, because that's the most fulfilling thing. Don't follow the opinions of others. Don't allow this materialism to define you. Don't allow the materialism to define you, and then you'll get caught up and hit with a cannonball when your ego drops, because you realize that your identity, which you attach because that's come from the suffering, ultimately destroys you. Focus on what actually you care about and what you actually want to achieve. Generally sit down, journal, talk to yourself, think for yourself. As a man thinketh, so is he. And that's what I want to end it on. Whatever you perceive yourself to be, that's what you are. And no one else, no one else thinks of you is of any importance in comparison to what you think of yourself. Because at the end of the day, your self-worth should only come from one person, and that is you. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been enjoyable. I hope you've learned something from it. If you had, please like, share, comment and subscribe. If you have questions, drop a comment down below. I'll be willing to answer them instantly. And other than that, my friends, I hope you have a nice rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next one. So, goodbye.